And for our final story, we shift focus to Cameroon, where the death of an opposition leader while in detention risks further worsening political tensions. 74-year-old Anicet Ekane died in custody on Monday, according to his family and legal representation. The former leader of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy Party, or MANIDEM, was arrested on October the 24th of this year following post-election demonstrations. His party described the arrest as a kidnapping by Cameroonian soldiers. Deadly clashes broke out after mass protests following the re-election of Cameroonian President Paul Biya. The world's oldest ruler, aged 92, has led the West African nation since 1982 and is now into his 8th term as president. Left-wing politician Ekane was part of the opposition coalition that endorsed Issa Tchiroma Bakary in October's presidential election. Tchiroma Bakary, who has since fled to the Gambia, claimed he was the rightful winner of the poll. But official results had President Paul Biya as the winner, leading to major unrest.
Why do we vote? I wasted my time going to vote for what? I ask you. Why do people waste their time going to vote? Because I vote for my candidate, then he gets elected, and then they say he didn't get elected. We want our president. I want my president, that's what I want. I want my president, that's all we want. We don't have weapons, we're on the move like this, we have nothing. I don't know why we went to vote. Better still, we're telling Cameroonians not to vote again until the prince leaves, before we resume voting in Cameroon.
And that unrest turned into violent clashes. United Nations sources said that Cameroonian security forces killed 48 civilians in a crackdown on protesters. They state the majority of victims were killed by live rounds, though several died from wounds sustained when they were beaten with batons and sticks. According to the opposition estimate, the death toll was higher at 55, while the government say only 16 were killed. Hundreds were also arrested during the crackdown, including Ekane. The opposition leader was being held on charges of hostility against the state, incitement to revolt, and calls for insurrection. Ekane had denied all of those accusations. Now, no official cause of death has been announced, with Cameroon's Ministry of Defence launching an investigation. But Ekane's party has accused authorities of denying him access to medication, something the government denies. In a statement on November the 21st, the party said medical items were locked in his impounded vehicle at a military police station in the commercial capital of Douala, while the party accused police of repeatedly blocking lawyers' efforts to recover Ekane's essential medical equipment, calling it a flagrant human rights violation. And his lawyer said that just days before Ekane's death, the leader was barely able to speak. The death of Anicet Ekane could provide another flashpoint for political tensions that have recently had deadly consequences. If President Biya finishes his term, he will be almost 100 years of age and will be closing in on a 50-year rule. But in a country where the majority of the population are under 30, support for an alternative candidate has picked up. Tchiroma Bakary attracted backing from a wide range of society, but is now in Gambia on a quote-unquote humanitarian grounds. And with another opposition leader now out of the political picture, whether intentionally or not, Paul Biya's grip on power in Cameroon remains vice-like.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.